Hello, and again it is Technique Tuesday, and to continue the theme that I started last week, because the two infographics the one that I shared last week on the 28th of November and the one today, they are linked. They are linked. Let's have a look at the infographic for today before I start to talk about that. Okay, here we are. So we're talking about vocal nodules. Vocal nodules are the result of more pressure than the cords can take. Break the overexertion habit. Think balance. And the little hashtags are almost the same. I think I have made a slight adjustment. You have airflow, balanced, glottal chink, practice, thin edge, thick edge. Okay, and last week I did explain what the glottal chink means, and of course sometimes we have a glottal chink, because there is a swelling there at the beginnings of what could become a nodule, and this is something like anywhere in the body where the cells are being forced to protect the body. It will form a kind of hard edge to it. And of course you can imagine the vocal folds being so minute and tiny that when there is a swelling, or even when you have laryngitis and the edges are swollen and cannot come together and make that nice clean connection, you are going to get a glottal chink, and that's why you have a very kind of a breathy sound when you have laryngitis. But also, if you have a nodule, it will be almost impossible to get those edges together, and that's where you have the air escaping. And oddly, of course, it perpetuates the problem, because, of course, in order to get the sound you want, there's a great temptation to push the air. So we are definitely thinking balance. Everything about singing is usually about balance, and not necessarily going down the route that you think you need to go down in order to get more sound. So you have to be careful, especially if you've been trying to overcome some vocal malaise, been under the weather, had a cold. Too many concerts this time of the year can be rife with problems for singers, because of course our enthusiasm to do the performing, and a lovely time of year to do the singing, and it's those endorphins, the pleasure from singing with others, when you've got a slightly troubled throat, can be truly a problem. So you've got to understand to recognize the signs. Okay, so let's just have another look at those words on the infographic. You get vocal nodules because they're the result where there is more pressure than the cords can take. They're only small, remember. And you've got to sort of work at getting over the overexertion habit. Think balance. Okay, so this also applies actually when you're singing a song, say, where you think there's a huge climax in the piece of music, and the only way really to get to that stage of being able to produce the right amount of sound is to push air. And it isn't always the best way, because of course by pushing air you force the folds apart, and not only do you get the glottal chink, but you also get loss of compression, the idea of apoggia, leaning into or singing on the breath. There's a leak and the air comes out, and what you lose is that sense of connection with the body. And then what happens next? Everything tenses up and stops, the whole movement idea, and you start to constrict by pushing and squeezing, and these start to show there. All right, so you can see that, yeah, we've got to take care of the whole process all the time. Okay, I hope that's explained a little bit more about, when we're doing warm-ups on a Saturday morning, why we're trying to get the onset right, and why it's important to pay attention to those moments when you tend to lose compression, and you start to recognize those moments when the panic mode has taken over and everything is tight and there's no kind of poise idea, and you've lost it. And the only way you can regain that lovely feeling of poise and connection is to stop and start the next phrase. Reset. The balance of the airflow. Remember, again, it's airflow, not air blow. All right, okay, that's enough from me. Have a lovely day, and more again very soon. Bye for now.